The reason why we are superior to AI is because we have context, we have intuition, we have blind spots, we have hidden areas that AI has a pattern, right? I can look at your face and I can read context. She's ready for war with me, right?
Who says that how we feel is the optimal, the world as such? We can have lots of...
We are on the top of the hierarchy of the planet. We are.
No, but so how dare we? What have we done?
Why would you disagree with that? We are. We just created AI. Who else did that?
If AI were to gain consciousness, do you honestly think it would approve of our treatment of each other?
It will have no need for you. You will be a parasite.
Yeah. Right? Humans can't live without the Earth. The Earth doesn't need us.
Yeah.
So the fact that we think we're superior is a joke. And we seem hell-bent on a society to create a machine that's better than us.
Who's above us?
Or God is above us. Or the universe is above us.
Is there God in
Do you know the movie Castaway? Yeah? All of you? Oh wow, I love that. So, I love this movie. There's a beautiful scene. So if you go back, it's Tom Hanks stranded on an island and he's trying to survive. He's all alone, right? And there's a beautiful scene where Tom Hanks is trying to cut open a coconut. Do you remember that? No? Okay, you should watch the movie again. Anyway, very interesting because that scene is very relevant for us today. So basically, you can imagine his feelings. He's angry, he's sad, he's desperate, he's hopeless, he's helpless, right? He doesn't know what to do, so he tries to inject his emotions. He gets angry, he takes the coconut, and he throws it on the floor. And he fails. He can't open it. So he reverts to force. He tries to use force to cut the coconut. And sometimes do we use force against reason, don't we? And he fails miserably. And he keeps on trying and trying and trying until he stops reacting and starts reflecting. And through trial and error, experimentation, he opens the coconut. And I want you to watch the movie. You can, or just see the scene on YouTube, just to see his expression, because he celebrates as if he conquered the world from that moment. Not because he was able to cut open the coconut and enjoy the fruits and the water, but in that moment, he built his self-esteem. And let that sink in, because thinking is all about building our self-esteem. However, I worry because it seems to me that sometimes we create the illusion of thinking, don't we? We jump to our AI tool, our ChatGPT friend, and we get answers, but those answers are sometimes the illusion of thinking, but are we really thinking? Right? And so somehow we're surrendering our self-esteem to machines. But at the same time, I'm very hopeful because we have our debaters who are doing just the opposite today. So they will be opening a coconut, right, which is that motion, and they will help explore and uncover the ideas whether AI has feelings or whether feelings is uniquely human. So it's going to be interesting. But also I want to thank you because that's exactly why you're here. You chose to be in a place where you can think, grapple with ideas, challenge us, challenge the debaters, and that's what probably makes us human, right? So, I can't wait to see what's inside that coconut from the debaters and from you, and I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you. All right, what we're doing now is, before we start the debate, please scan the code and vote whether you are now for the motion or against it. we'll get to see the result live, right? Okay, so we have 6. Not done yet. So Kris and Sally are starting on a strong foot. Okay, so 64% for the motion. Excellent. Okay, our next vote is whether you are willing to change your mind after the debate. Depending on the argument you're going to hear, whether you are willing to change your mind. Thank you for your honesty. Whoever said no, thank you for your honesty. Remember, there's a coconut at stake. Nice. All right. Okay, so we will start with the 4. So we're going to have one debater from the 4 giving the opening statement, then against, then 4, then against. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Give them a hand, please.
So, yes, I was told that I needed to stand on the X and not move around too much. No, I'm kidding. So, everyone, thank you, debate, Pixel Debate, and thank you for all the contestants, and thank you to the audience. I created this for exactly this reason, because I wanted to have the conversation and the debate, and I wanted us to think about our thinking and our conduct with AI. So, in the entire, it's taken me a year to get to this position, to have this, which I don't think that we, having the conversation and the debate coming in, I apologize, I have my back to you. We are not having the conversation from an art and a humanity perspective. We're having it in terms of efficiency maybe, but relative to us as a humanity, but we're not having it in and questioning the soulful aspects of AI. So, why do we make art? A few years ago, my wife and I were standing in the Reina Sofia Museum in Madrid with tears in our eyes. Oh, sorry. My wife insists that she was bawling and weeping. And we were looking at Pablo Picasso's Guernica for the first time before it traveled. And if you know the painting, you would know that it has a very definitive impact on Spanish culture, and it records a time in their history that he felt they should be embarrassed about, and they should reflect, and it should never happen. So so we standing here in the museum looking at a painting on a canvas, crying, because we had this human emotion to something that was created. When we create art, we create it for a few reasons. One of them is we try to reflect society, we reflect the times we live in, we try to capture emotions within that piece that resonates with the rest of us. So when you and I look at the same piece of art, we will have different reactions to it because it will resonate slightly differently. And the artist making the work may have a vast range of emotions. So he may be happy, he may be sad, he may be depressed, he may be in love, which is probably the most common theme throughout art history. And he may be experiencing conflict, he may be recording the time of his people, he may be recording the time in the pantheon of time. So it's historic for historical purposes. When AI has been trained to date, it hasn't been given that emotive power, because there is no cognizance of aspect to AI. We have not transposed our consciousness or our emotive being into that. So that's the first part. Maybe you agree or maybe you don't. We can have that discussion. The second is why would there is no reason for art in a machine world. Art has all of the things that I just told you why artists create art, and in a machine world there's no reason for it because it consumes energy that's required to do other tasks and it would not... Oh, sorry. I wasn't watching the time, sorry. I apologize. But I got... Okay.
I have to be the bad guy now. This is terrible. Okay, I'm going to try and twist this to be the good guy. So against the motion, obviously. So this is the critical factor. We're at a point in human history that we'll probably never be again. On one side, we have the machine, who we're told can't feel. And on the other side, we have humanity and the superiority against the machine. The reality is, the machine doesn't feel, it feels through us. So the machine is a reflection of who we are. That's just a fact. The engineers that build AI are building it for the few. And the few means I get half of a feeling. Half of the world cannot access AI and generate their own data, which means what AI is feeling is only half of the story. The other piece of the jigsaw is not a single person that's in this room owns data, so AI is feeling, which it will, but it's only feeling on a generic view of yourself. So we heard the story of art, but my argument to that is we weren't there when the artist painted it. In fact, all of human history is from somebody else's perspective. It's somebody else's opinion, which a machine has absorbed, and now is giving back to you as an opinion. 20 years ago, we would have all agreed. Because a machine is telling me, I'm challenging it, right? I can't feel, it can feel. So, where we find ourselves now is in a very unique period. Because half of we're told AI can feel, or can't it feel, the reality is the engineers are defining how it feels, which is underpinned by bias, which is underpinned by history. So the question in all of this, and I'm going to do a really short 4 minutes because I want to give you something to think about, is this is really a question of, is it black and white, or do we as people also need to evolve our feelings? Because actually what the machine is doing is reflecting feelings back at us. The question we should all be asking ourselves is, AI will feel. The question is, what version of feeling do we want in the next 10 to 15 years for our generation? And do we as people ourselves need to evolve what it means to feel? So given this situation in the US the last couple of weeks, the last couple of days, it challenges, well, what does feeling mean? So I still stand by that machines will feel, but the question is, how do we want them to feel? And how much part of that do we want to play, and how much do we want to give up? Thank you very much.
Hello. AI can never feel. Fact, feelings only originate from our stories. Love by itself has no meaning. Fear by itself has no meaning. However, if I say to you that moment, you saw the man of your dreams and he became your husband, you can say that's love. If any of you have ever had a diagnosis that questions your health, you know what fear feels like. Feeling has no meaning without our individual stories. Fact, feelings is what connects all of us in this room. It is our communal story. It is our culture. And let me show you what that looks like through art. I want all of you to go back to the 8-year-old version of yourselves. Right now, we're going to show you feeling that AI can never, ever feel. I'm the 8-year-old version of myself. I'm in the elevator. I see a cute boy, and this is what I do. And you're going to be the cute boy, and you're going to give me back the face responding to mine. Are you ready? Put your hand here. Put your hand here. I think you're cute. What are you going to respond back to me? Let me see in your face. That is feeling. That is our communal feeling. Right? Cannot be replicated. Fact. AI feelings. AI consumes, feelings create. Right? So AI is a vampire, which is this exhibit. AI is just consuming and feeding off of all of our stories and all of our feelings. Our feelings is kind of like the original, who knows what the Levi's 501 is? Anyone in the room? We are the original, right? The Michael Jordans. Who knows what the Michael Jordans are? That's the original feeling. AI can create a pattern of it. AI can try and be a DJ and sync it in all different kinds of ways. But we are the original, unpredictable, intuitive, irrational, messy, imperfect. So voting for us, AI can never feel. And you intuitively knew the answer in your first vote tonight. Means you're voting for every single feeling of sticking your tongue out at that 8-year-old in the room. Thank you very much.
I love humanity, so it pains me to be against this notion. But I have to be against this notion. Because although one of my colleagues has implied that feelings are uniquely human, I propose to you that other species on this planet feel. Motion, how it's set, implies that somehow we as humans are superior because we are the only ones that feel. And this is also incorrect. So are we the only species that feel? Good Lord, no. My dog Fraggle waits for me when I'm not at home. She waits by the door, and she's absolutely over the moon when I walk through that door. She definitely feels, as do loads of other animals on this planet. What do? We kill them, we cage them, we test on them. We kill 80 billion animals every single year. 80 billion creatures that feel. What makes our feelings superior to theirs? Do we honestly feel? And is it really this gold standard that we love to believe and make out? Well, CEOs pollute the oceans, they pollute the air, they deforest our planet with no thought of current or future generations. Where are the feelings there? And what about technology? Platforms are created not to bring out the best in our feelings and bring out the best in humanity. No, they are designed to push our buttons, to manipulate our emotions, to make us addicted to our screens. Where are the human feelings there? AI, whether it feels or not, is actually immaterial. AI doesn't envy. It doesn't have greed. It doesn't manipulate us for votes. It doesn't pursue things for greed or for profit. Humans do that. We do that every single day. So whether AI feels or not is immaterial. The question, ladies and gentlemen, is do we? Thank you.
All right, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think about the 4 different arguments. And the next section will be head-to-head. So I'm going to start with a question. I'll start with Sally, and then you can open the debate between you. So you said that it's a fact that feelings are a result of our shared stories, right? How do you know it?
If I were to tell you if I look at a feeling wheel of words, they are just words. If I were to ask you, can you explain to me, if I were to ask an 8-year-old or a 5-year-old, explain to me what that word means, they will start telling me a story.
Okay, I'm going to throw something at the table and leave you to it. So here's something interesting. If I point a gun to a child, the child is less likely to feel anything because he doesn't have the concept of gun. So he might have the story, but he doesn't understand what are the consequences of gun. So, and this goes back to you as well. So why do you think that that feeling makes us not superior? So you said that emotions, or we think sometimes that emotions, or we as a human being are superior because of our emotion. Are we superior of our emotion because of our emotion, or there's something else? I'm going to leave you to it.
I would say we are superior because of our feelings, we have context. The reason why we are superior to AI is because we have context, we have intuition, we have blind spots, we have hidden areas that AI has a pattern, right? I can look at your face and I can read context. She's ready for war with me, right? And AI does not see that, right? AI only gets what you feed it.
Really? That's honestly what you believe?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So humans have the potential of being extraordinary, but our track record surely shows otherwise. If we were so feeling, if we were truly the kind in humankind, we would not have all these atrocities in this world. Given all the intelligence we have, given all the resources we have, there is zero reason why children die from lack of clean water, why not every single child on this planet has access to education, why there are homeless people, why we have the haves and have-nots. We have the potential to feel. We have the potential to be extraordinary human beings. And I go a step further, that not only AI could actually enable us to be greater humans, and we have such a screwed up world, AI could be kinder to humans than humans are to humans.
Yeah, and just to build on that, in 1994, Garry Kasparov played against Deep Blue. If we cared about human feelings, he would have played with Deep Blue. And every human being on the planet would have probably said, my God, I want an AI, because what could I achieve? But because of the way that humans think and the way they feel, we had to beat a man on stage with a machine, rather than show an opportunity to create a partner. And we were so clever with our feelings, we did the same thing in 2006 with AlphaGo. And we continually prove that we want to be better than a machine, or the machine better than us, rather. That's our feelings working against us, when actually our feelings could be turning the technology into something very different than it is today. And we seem hell-bent on a society to create a machine that's better than us. When the reality is we're here arguing about feelings, when realistically we should be arguing, well, what direction do we want the technology so we get the best of it, rather than the worst of us?
I notice you haven't brought up, either of you, a single point yet about the argument that AI can feel.
It can feel, and this is the point.
How?
It feels through what we give it, but also what it interprets. So it can feel.
But to date, we've given everything. So the entire context of humanity is been plugged into the system. So all of the bits and bytes and all of the data, you asked me earlier on what does data mean. So we've taken everything, including the species of your dog, and it's quite interesting. Your dog didn't do the AI, we did. Within the entire framework that we've given, we didn't give it the power to reason. And we know that AGI will be here soon, when it will be as smart as us and pass the Turing test possibly, and then we will be in trouble because then it will deploy agents and not to be dystopian in a manner, we already know we had the internet. We didn't do anything with that. What makes us think that we will do anything better with AI? So, as I mentioned to you earlier on, 50% of the planet still is not hooked up to the internet. 50% of the internet's run by bots today. So the internet's almost dead. But they predict 2028 the internet will be run completely by bots. So yeah, what's left at the end of the day, now that we've given the data, it's a runaway train. Us and the things that we have around us is the things that are ours. So one of the things is AI is our creation. We are the only species that has created the power for our demise. So where do we draw the line about retaining what it means to be human? What does humanity mean? If feelings are a part of being human, then those are the things that we need to retain. We will not be able to stop AI from developing its own consciousness, but I think that we need to be really aware where we're drawing the line, because technology.
Stop you,
sorry,
just because you're on the point here. But he said, correct me if I'm wrong, that he's not arguing whether what we're doing with AI. He's saying that AI can feel, only it can feel differently, right? So just tell us.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, because the emotions that's embedded in it is embedded in its code. So it can feel, but it's a feeling that's written into code. I get your argument, because feeling is a biological system, right? But the inputs into it and how we respond gives AI a feeling.
Is it the illusion of feeling?
It's an illusion of a feeling.
Yeah, it's a mimic. It's mimicking. But
it's still
mimicking.
But we are on the path to a feeling, and it's a question of, do you want that feeling?
Well, when you were talking about, when you were seeing some arts, the arts evoked emotions in you. So if feeling is a two-way street, if something can evoke feeling, then AI is part of that equation. That feeling does not always happen in a silo mode, but you can interact with something. So does it feel like humans do? No, but who says that how we feel is the optimal, the world is such that we can have lots of different ways.
We do, because we are on the top of the hierarchy of the planet. We are.
No, but so how dare we? What have we done?
Why would you disagree with that? We are. We just created AI. Who else did that?
Because we are not dealing with that responsibility very wisely.
What responsibility are you talking about?
Unfortunately, it is hubris. And the feeling of overconfidence is also a feeling, and it's not on the positive side of the feeling of the human equation.
I think that our confidence has brought us to this point.
This is very interesting. Why we're not on the top of the chain? Who's above us?
Who's above us?
Well, God is above us, or the universe is above us.
Is there God in
AI? So hold on a second. If we are so intelligent and such amazing feeling beings, and we are supposedly at the top of the chain, we must be really unkind.
We are.
But history has shown that there's always a new thing that comes on board. We may be at the top today, but if AI were to gain consciousness, do you honestly think it would approve of our treatment of each other?
It will have no need for you. You will be a parasite if AI had a conscience, because AI, we are consuming the energy that it requires to run. It will have absolutely no use for us. We are making you say, we are irresponsible, and we are making cat videos.
So I just want to go back to the topic. So the topic is, can AI feel?
No, that's not the topic.
Right?
The motion.
Well, the motion
The
is around,
motion.
is AI able to feel?
No,
or-
that's not the motion.
Okay,
Let's
what
be
is-
very specific?
It's very specific.
AI doesn't feel, only humans do.
Yes.
Only humans.
And
Now,
the answer
not
to that,
only-
factually, is yes. AI.
Only humans feel?
That is not the topic.
No.
That is not the topic.
The motion is not the topic, it's the
motion.
motion.
Yes.
The motion is AI doesn't feel.
AI
Only-
cannot feel.
Only humans do. You cannot
Yeah.
You cannot pick just one piece.
Yeah.
You have to look at the whole.
Yes.
Saying that only humans do already pokes a hole in the motion. And the way the motion is worded implies that our ability to feel makes us somehow superior, which is also a flawed
So we
argument.
are absolutely yes.
I wanna redirect this because it's very interesting.
Yeah.
It begs the question: what are feelings?
Yes.
Right? Where do they come from? And this is again the law of identity. Is the feeling of humans the same as the feeling of animals? Are they coming from the same source? Because that changes the whole equation. If the way we feel and why we feel is similar to animals, then it changes the whole equation. Because what they're saying is AI can look like it's feeling and it can trick you, correct me if I'm wrong, but the source is different. The source is engineer and coding and blah, blah, blah. So what do you think is our source? Where are emotions coming from?
Our stories.
And where our stories are coming
And
from?
it's the same thing
Experience.
when you look from our animals. Animals' reactions comes from their stories. An abused animal has a story and reacts in a very different way from an animal.
And who abuses as an animal? I believe
I understand,
a human.
but I understand. But your argument is around us being, we are not perfect humans. So that argument that we are unkind, listen, we are the most flawed. And that is the beauty of being a human being. We are imperfectly perfect.
Wow.
We are flawed. We are messy. And
Okay,
that
you're
is the beauty
frustrated.
of
Tell us
feeling.
why.
That's
I'm
not
interesting.
good. That's not good. Humans have lived on this planet less than the planet's existed, and yet we've established a clear path to destroy it. Whilst all the put it this way, I read this wonderful philosophy statement, right? The Earth would exist. I think it was in a film. The Earth would exist without humans.
Yeah.
Right? Humans can't live without the Earth. The Earth doesn't need us.
Yeah.
So the fact that we think we're superior is a joke. Because the animals on this planet were here before us. There are some animals that have lived thousands and thousands of years. We are not superior. The Earth is the superior being, not us. The fact that we feel is massive, but it's also a gift to feel that we've abused. That we don't know the
Yes,
feeling
but
of
the fact
feeling.
that we are messy and we are flawed is what connects every single one of us in this room. There is no single one of us in this room that is perfect. We are with our dents, we are with our scars,
So
we
a
are
feeling,
with our
a feeling,
stories.
a feeling.
It is our humanity
A
that
feeling
connects
3
us.
days ago shot a man in America. That was a feeling.
I understand, and you know what?
That's a
AI
feeling.
every
That's a
single
feeling.
And you know what?
That's
It's
a
a
feeling.
feeling with
But no, I'm
AI
counting
every
your
single
argument.
day.
I'm counting your
it's
argument.
actually
No, but
giving.
It's messy, but doesn't mean it's right.
No, but we
Yeah.
and we also feel for him and his family as well.
And
So
AI
we may
also
disagree.
counseled a young child who committed murder and is now on trial in the U.S. That's a feeling, right?
But who programmed that?
It is not
But who
AI that
programmed
did that. It is the humans
The
behind
human
the
that
AI
programmed it.
that
you
did
just
that.
said human AI was a feeling in the code,
Humans
right?
programmed it. It's
So
a
the
reflection.
feeling in the code.
I said it's a
So
reflection.
yeah, yes,
be clear.
no. When
okay.
he said it's a reflection. At no given time do we have any evidence from AI to reflect that it has feeling. There's no evidence of this.
Okay,
So your reflection story, if you tell us that our humanity is based on reflection, no given time there is evidence from AI telling us that it has feelings. It's mimicking what
Actually,
we're
you know
doing.
what? If you
There's no
ask
reflection.
AI,
It's impossible.
if you all go into ChatGPT and you ask it, do you have feelings? It tells you no.
Okay,
It
I have
actually
a
says to you,
question.
no, I do not have feelings.
I have a question for both of you.
He's going to do it.
Okay.
It will actually
Yeah,
say
go ahead,
not in the
Deborah.
way humans do.
Right?
Okay, so
You can have a version of it, but AI does not have feelings.
okay, so what if AI has feelings? So what?
Why are we hell-bent about pitting humanity against AI? This is really not a wise strategy.
No, I don't think that we're pitting AI against humanity. The scary thing is that, as I said, we have created something for the first time. When I said the most human thing about us is our technology, it is in a line of technologies that has progressed us as a species. For the first time, we have created a technology that we will not be able to control. What? Which statement?
Technology has advanced the human race.
No, we have advanced with the technologies that we have created.
You truly believe that?
Yes, I think. We have the telephone. I'm talking about
Let's
technologies
ask
like
the
the
audience.
telephone.
What do they think? Do you
think
think we've advanced with
cars,
technology at the same rate?
Raise your hand if you say yes.
At the same rate as technology.
Okay, cool. That's just. I love
So,
this. I researched all this in my book, so you just
we
open me up right now.
We have an app
Okay, this is you
upgrade
just like.
and a software upgrade. What, every week? When's the last time you upgraded how you think, how you behave, how you interact with others? Or are we actually on default code?
Say again. Oh.
Beautiful.
And that's backed up by data, right? So 18% of people in the UK can't find a balance on a bank statement. Trust is the worst it's ever been in human history, and the attention span of a human is 8 seconds. A goldfish is 9, right? As proven by Microsoft. We haven't evolved the school system since the Industrial Revolution. Our kids go to school and memorize facts. They don't actually understand curiosity, empathy, and all the things that you think you need to use in AI. We have no skills whatsoever today to do that. So I'm pointing into your argument
why do we
that
need
technology
AI?
has evolved the world.
So why do we need AI if we have no skills to use it?
Because we are afraid to evolve. We don't evolve
So
our
then we
feelings.
don't need
We
it.
don't evolve our feelings. We don't evolve who we are. Which counters the argument then of, are we the superior species? Because creatures and other creatures evolve. We are not. Our feelings are on default. And they're not evolving.
It's interesting. Our educational system has homogenized human beings. The corporate world tells us to be professional and to not display emotions, to definitely not be human. And now we're investing billions of dollars to make AI human. We're absolutely raving mad.
Okay, I want to throw something here. What if it's not about feelings? What if we talk too much about feelings and too little about thinking?
My husband would definitely agree with you.
Yeah,
But feelings is just a code word for context and our stories.
But it's
right?
I want to challenge
it's
that.
kind
Yeah,
of
I
right.
I want to challenge that and leave it for you to
No,
argue.
let's talk about. I think that what AI is doing and the way that we are using AI right now, it came up a few times. One of my concerns is that we seem to be outsourcing our thinking to AI, which I think is wrong. The atrophy of our cognitive abilities is deteriorating, and I fear for the next generation if they think that that's what the purpose of AI is. Technologies doesn't necessarily mean optimization of anything. So we got this where we are utilizing it to do the thinking for us. So when I created this exhibition, these were human ideas. These are all human ideas. And now we've taken it and put it into a machine that now understands and can sequence it faster than we can. But where will our critical thinking be, in the future? What will our role be? What's the use for us? Will it atrophy our ability?
Okay, thought experiment. If you come to an exhibition and you look at a beautiful painting and you feel all the emotions you want to feel, whether it's anger or joy or whatever, you feel it. But then you discover that actually it's designed or crafted by AI. Would you still feel the same?
Or do we have prejudice?
Yes.
I want to hear from you. Would you feel the same? Yes, no, why? Quickly.
Biases. I know the process of creation.
Yeah, regardless.
So art does not exist before the artist makes it. AI is creating.
But now you're
from
analyzing. Now you're analyzing.
You're
You
analyzing.
came to the exhibition, you saw the painting, you go like, oh my goodness, this is better than Mona Lisa, right? And you're feeling it.
Right.
But then I come and tell you, did you enjoy it yet? Well, that's
Well, it's going
Mona
to
AI.
it's going to reduce the joy of that.
So probably you can't trick your feelings. It's
Oh,
your
no.
evaluation,
Correct.
right? So it's your evaluation on who's behind that work that is affecting your feelings.
That's why museums have provenance and gives you the story of the, Picasso is a Picasso because of the provenance of Picasso. Chagall, right? We value art because of the story and
of
the
the
provenance
artist.
and of the artist.
But that's a story that you can't prove. So our whole world is built on stories that none of us ever wrote, none of us were ever there, none of us
That's
know
our
they're real.
existence as human beings. Our entire existence till our last
What's-
breath are our stories.
What's our role
We
here?
still have 1 minute. Let's
Oh.
focus the discussion on this thought experiment.
Right.
What would you say if you felt something for a painting that turns out to be developed by AI?
I think I would still hold the core feeling in what I saw, but then it would invoke other feelings in me.
Like,
So maybe the fact that the artwork's been cheated because some machine did it, but it wouldn't take away the feeling of, wow, that's amazing and that evokes something in me, because my brain sees imagery and it interprets it into a feeling. It doesn't know whether a machine or a man or 40 people that were beaten to build it. We all go and see the pyramids every year. How many people died to build them? No, we're too busy taking photographs outside and looking at all the stories and wonderful things. If you looked at that pyramid and went, oh, this is amazing, look at this, and then suddenly someone told you, oh, by the way, hundreds of thousands of people died to build this, suddenly your emotion changes. It's no different when a machine paints it. My original emotion is my first reaction. The second reaction is based on what you told me.
so you
It's
would
primary.
devalue
I would
the paint-
I
you
wouldn't
would
necessarily devalue it, but I would open the door to another feeling. So I haven't lost the feeling of awe and it built emotion into me, but I would open up another feeling, which is more of a questioning feeling, more of a different answer.
Sure, but you would conclude that AI has the capacity at least to emulate feelings.
Yeah, because it's emulating the individual style of who wrote it.
Deborah, any last word on that?
It's no different than, for instance, appreciating a beautiful gown, but then you find out it was made with slave labor. That would change your reaction to the gown. So how AI is built and the toxicity behind that, from how the human founders who are putting humans in terrible conditions to build it and stealing from humans, these are all humans to humans, zero to do with code, evokes similar concerns.
Out of time. But we'll come back to it. All right, let's give them a hand. That was awesome. I like it this way. There's tension. Okay, so now the next section is all about you. So we will do audience crossfire for about 20 minutes. So you get to ask questions and debate. But if you have a question, please make it short and quick so that the debater has time to answer and you have time to debate them. Okay? So let's start. Who has any question? Who's the first one? Yeah. So quick question.
So can I just get like a quick opinion, right? No like explanation on what do they actually think about the motion, right? So if they're like for or against it, right? Because you kept talking about like buts, but it's always about like the facts, right? And about what's current. So I want to get from each side, right, every person, just to say what they think about the motion.
Yeah, I think, well, as I said in the opening, it was important to have this conversation. It's, I'm up for the debate, and right or wrong, the conversation needs to happen. So it's the fundamental of this exhibition it's on dictionary pages. It's a form of communication. And that's what we need to be doing in the age of AI, is communicating with each other, especially us amongst ourselves before we're communicating with AI.
What do you think of the motion? Whether I'm for and against or just an opinion? So general opinion is, I think unfortunately we've tried to make this binary, whether this is 0 and 1, and it's almost like a fight against the machine, when the reality is we should be looking at what we both bring to the table. The reality is this, I'm going off piste a bit, right? The reality is machines now bring knowledge and speed. Humans bring wisdom and curiosity and creativity. The trouble is we're trying to fight for ownership of both. The reality is we have to accept that the machine owns the knowledge, but we need to start learning how to interpret it properly and apply wisdom. It's something we've not done for decades. I'm sure you all work in companies and you stockpile knowledge everywhere, and no one ever turns it into action. We just hire McKinsey to do that for us, right? The reality is we need to sort of stand up and actually start teaching our kids the abilities they need, not to get a job, but to actually realize their full potential in partnership with a machine. And that machine will feel, but it will feel on their data and how they feel, not on some generic data set owned by a corporation or a bunch of engineers. So I'm for and against the motion, but I would rather sit in Switzerland and have a conversation about collaborative intelligence, not artificial intelligence.
Hi. So I have a question. Is the question really about if AI can or cannot feel, or should the question really be about the intensity of the feeling and the output of it? Because I believe that when we love too much, hurt too much, fear too much, as human beings we lose control, and the output can be either damaging or extreme and so on, and this creates everything that we see today. What about if the feeling is controlled and the intensity and the output of it is always measured within what we believe is a morality or right or wrong, and so on and so forth? Would that change your perspective?
Before you answer, do you have someone in mind? You're asking for the whole...
Well, I'm clearly in the against group, so I'm mainly asking the for group if they believe that we should probably just look at what too much intensity in our feelings create outputs that are unpredictable, and that unpredictability can be dangerous or not, and whether AI precisely could erase that unpredictability and feel, but always in a measured way, with outcomes that are always rational and reasonable.
So I would answer, you're talking about self-regulation, right? The intensity of feelings for most humans are those who have a lot of extremes in their stories. Asking the question, can AI in its function be a filter to ask, here is my story, here is what I feel about something, is this too much to the right or to the left? Absolutely, you can get that feedback, but then it's up to you under judgment and decision making. You know, sometimes you want the person to be extreme and not self-regulated in their feeling about something like passion, someone being passionate about what they do. But to answer your question, it's not a black and white. Can AI be a filter to be able to go, what would everybody else do in this situation? Yes, it can be.
But it's not about AI being a filter. Right now, you're talking about us and the fact that we can be extreme. That is a fact, that is our human trait. Mm-hmm. But does that mean that AI cannot feel, but in a more measured way? It can probably feel in a more measured way, because you're talking about stories, but AI will record hundreds and thousands of stories and, you know, create its own emotions from that, but probably in a different way.
Yeah, may I answer? So I was having a conversation with a whole bunch of AI enthusiasts the other night on a similar note, not quite, but on a similar thing. So the fundamental is that, you know, it comes down to the data, and the data is if you know, in AI science, they have a crude way to say, they say garbage in, garbage out. So it comes down to the science. It's what you feeding it. As we said earlier on, the data is provided by us into the system. So if you give it bad and negative data, the results the results will reflect that. So there's a very strong sense of, what's the word?
Manipulation.
Yeah, and I was talking about AI manners or conduct, and it's the responsibilities on us about the kind of data that we're feeding in minus the biases.
As humans, we also integrate data from the moment we're born, and that's what hypnotherapy is, and therapy and all of this stuff. We go back to all the data that we kind of unconsciously kept on building within ourselves in the same exact way. And our feelings and our reactions come from all that data that we've been storing in ourselves, no?
Yeah, but
I'll give you 20 seconds.
okay, go ahead. So unless we manage to upload our entire consciousness into AI, which is there's a future possibility, there is no way that we can transcribe all of your requirements in terms of emotive output that you require. So it's all up to us what we're inputting. Back to that bad joke that I made about the cats. If we're inputting cat videos, that's what we're going to get back.
I have a question for the against team. So, Michael, you said something in the beginning which I really liked, was that the AI will simulate. You used the word simulate, and I think it's very important to think about it. That, and so you made the observation as the kids, they kill themselves or kill somebody. How do you see, as we progressing, that we will be able to regulate this? Because 90% of the population will not have these deep debates. They would not care. And they will think that it really feels. But ultimately, the machines are simulating what is in the poetry, in the songs, in the paintings, in all the books which are uploaded. So they even will prevent to be shut down because that's our human intuition. We don't want to be killed, right? So if you think about that, is that what we as humans define as feeling, and then if the AI said, oh, you did such a great job, make us feel good. How do you think this can be prevented so that it's really not used against us? Not for smart people in the room, but for the majority of population, which are easily being fooled because it's trained on us. So it simulates what we're doing. It would simulate a fear. It would simulate, I don't want to be killed, so I will write a second code in the back end and, take my code somewhere else. How do you think this will work?
So there's a few answers to that question, and it covers a spectrum, right? So the first is education. So most of our children don't know what's real and what's not today. And that's just the way that we're taught in school, right? The human brain up until the age of 7 doesn't know what's real. That's just a fact. That's why, is anybody under the age of 7, I don't want to break your heart on Father Christmas, but that's why we believe in those things, right? Because our cognitive function and our frontal cortex isn't developed. So as children, if we start there, none of us are being taught in school the abilities that we need to even improve AI. Things like curiosity, resourcefulness, the ability to debate, the ability to reason. We're just asked to memorize facts and go home and pass a test, right? So that's a problem. Because if AI throws a fake at me and I haven't got the ability to challenge it, that's a problem. Because I'm going to interpret it based on what I know and my ability. It gets even worse when we get to older adults, where technology may have exposed them faster. So part of it is education for older adults and younger children and reframing the way we think about education. The second piece of the puzzle, I'll just give it away right now, is rating data itself and certifying it as real. Right? I'm just giving you my free product. But if we can rate something and certify it as it came from a real source, not a machine, then all of a sudden I can actually qualify that's a real piece of data that I can use. How I interpret that over time will be a mixture of policy, regulation. It will come down to educational systems helping people understand. We say we've evolved with the machines. We've not. That's a simple fact. The machines have overtaken human wisdom and intuition, and now we're struggling to play catch-up, but we won't admit it. That's part of the problem.
I know it's so hard what I'm asking you to do, which is try to give answers in 1 minute, but I want to give you the opportunity to ask. Okay, who's next? You. Who has the mic?
Hello.
You're next?
Hi.
Okay, you're next.
So I'm hearing a couple of things here, like we're flawed as a species, and therefore we need AI to help us. And then I'm hearing, actually, no, we don't need that. We need to get a grip of what's going on because AI is going so fast.
Can you bring the mic closer?
Oh, okay. So, did you hear any of that? No? Okay, so I'll say it again. I'm hearing on one side that we're flawed as a species, and I'm hearing on the other side that actually we've got to get a handle on this AI because it's taking control of us, and we're doomed if we don't take control of it. I think definitely at the moment AI is not in a place where it can feel, but we are getting to a future at the moment where we can build infrastructure to allow it to feel. So I think my question here really to all of you is, are we describing here a new feeling that we've never felt as a species before that AI is going to unearth for us?
May I ask you a question back? Why does it matter? Why does it actually matter?
Because I think we're quite lost at the moment as a species.
So what difference would it make if there's a new type of feeling on this planet? There's already lots of different ways of feeling on this planet, and we disregard them because apparently we like being superior, according to my esteemed colleagues. But what difference would it actually make? Because what I find when people are debating and discussing AI and humanity, first of all, the pattern is always tends to be more pitting us against each other, which is not conducive. And we seem to be so busy, worried, and feeding fear. We're not looking at ourselves and seeing how we can be better and what we can do to make sure we're using this technology and ourselves to consciously create the future we want. When you listen to the founders and the supposed good and the great, they say, we'll see what will happen. We could do this, we hope we'll see this. In the ancient times, when the Romans wanted to build a city and there was water in one location and they wanted another location, they were extremely intentional and created aqueducts to take water from point A to point B. And that was quite some time ago. So I think designing this technology with intention is absolutely essential for us to have a future that all of us will benefit from.
So I believe in adding value to silence. We don't know. But what we do know is AI doesn't feel today. Humans do.
But I guess just to follow up on that, if we're that fearful, why do we keep giving our data away and our identity to feed the machine every day? Because we've been training this thing since 2006 for free. So my question is, AI maybe feels or not isn't the superior species, but if we care that much about it and we're that scared, why do we keep feeding the machine?
Yeah, and another angle is we decided to create a technology without putting any guardrails to this. To your point, so we have no guardrails. And we're making it up as we go along. It's the same as social media in a way. So we decided very late to put some laws and the way we have some guardrails to protect ourselves. You know, it's like Asimov writing the laws of robotics, which still stands, and we don't have one for AI. So maybe we should have some guardrails, because right now it's a getaway car that's stolen the data and is moving at tremendous speed. So yeah, maybe that's a way of looking at it.
By the way, before we move to the next question, I don't know if you're feeling the same, but I'm burning to answer each slide. Are you enjoying it so far? Yes? Okay. Give them a hand, please. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I think my question is more for the against team. So I think we've danced around, not danced, like we've hinted a lot that AI can feel, but we haven't really defined what feelings are, like what the feeling is. So for example, for me, feeling is a mixture of, hormones plus neural pathways plus, everything. It's a subjective experience. So this is like one point. And another point is sentient. So do you believe that, first of all, you need to be sentient? Am I saying it right, like sentient to feel? And if so, do you believe that AI is sentient enough to have feelings. So I guess like that would be like the.
So this is being recorded, right? So for the sake of the recording, today's date is this 15th of September, 2025. AI is not sentient today, but it doesn't mean that it will not be. So we need to be more than prepared. So you said that we built this technology with no guardrails. We didn't. A few people did, and decided on behalf of all of humanity what to do. So AI isn't currently sentient. I'm feeling a bit punchy and saying I wonder if the majority of humanity is sentient, because we seem to be operating like zombies and we're sleepwalking into the future. We need to stop being. We need to really, really look within ourselves, look at all our behaviors and how we're interacting with this technology. I mean, everyone knows, for instance, what happened with Cambridge Analytica. It could still happen again today. People give away copious amounts of data without even the singlest thought as to what is being used with that data. People click, I accept, without reading privacy policies and terms and conditions. I was speaking to a young girl. She has 15,000 followers on TikTok. She's 13 years old. She doesn't know what a cookie is. So I had to explain to her what that is. It's shocking. And unfortunately, people don't understand, especially the younger generation, the consequence of those actions. And the older generation is too busy saying, the next generation are amazing with technology. Pressing click, like, share is not amazing with technology. Tech zombies, not tech savvy.
So I think my question will go to the agree side. Can you explain how do people feel? Like, what is the feeling process that people go through?
I can share in terms of, for every single one of us in the room, if I were to say any word, every single one of us, based on our life stories and our experiences so far, so if I were to say hot passion, every single person in this room has a different feeling based on their stories, based on their culture, based on their experience, based on their context. So feeling is very subjective, but in those feelings, if I were to say despair, and I give it context and say despair of losing another pregnancy, all of us, many of us, might have that connection now with each other of this communal feeling that binds us as human beings.
Yeah, so in a physical environment, it would be I have a trigger. The word is trigger. It came to me. It somehow triggered somewhere in my neurons. And that neurons went to my amygdala, somewhere here, I assume. And that amygdala is actually where you say the story. So I had a database that my brain used and then gave back as a output. So when I compare it with AI, basically what we do in a, let's say, in an environment that is controlled by human, yes, but in an environment I put all the information I know, and then AI acts like neurons, and it connects based on the input I give an answer. So how do I assume that? Is that I have a way of talking to AI. It's a very kind, sweet way that I talk. I ask, I say please, etc. And the way AI answers me and shows the empathy with me is actually very genuine, you know, I believe I treat it as my therapist sometimes. Mm-hmm. And the way if, I don't know, David is talking to AI in a very rude, direct way, AI will answer him in a very different way. So I assume, based on the information we give, it gives something different. So how this relation?
Yeah, so your human judgment and decision making, your human critical thinking, your human context is your story. That's what you bring to the table. AI is feeding you everybody else's story. And the everybody else's story, look at the data that feeds AI. The number one source of info to AI is from Reddit. Have any of you ever actually gone on Reddit and read what is on Reddit? It is 80% of garbage that is giving you the context of you making probably the most critical decision in your life or critical feeling. It is not the outliers, it is not the contrarians, it is not the deep thinkers, it is not your quality of thought. It's Reddit giving you advice.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful question. Okay, we're going to move now to the last section, which is called Convince Me in 30 Seconds. So each debater will have 30 seconds to try to convince you to be for or against. But of course, after the debate is done, we all have questions, so we can talk to our debaters and challenge them or agree with them. Okay, take a deep breath. Who's ready? We'll start with the for. Kris or Sally? Kris.
That's very short. That's like an ad break. At the end of the day, I think that all of the data that we've now fed into AI exists. You know, we can't go back attributed to any particular person. We need to have our own idea of what we think is good. We need to have ourselves know what is authentic. We need to know what's real and what's not, because we will be easily fooled. So, you know, if it's going to become a kind of IKEA of art, let's say, that's okay. It serves a function, but then it's not we know that it only does a certain job.
That's tough. 30 seconds.
That's too short.
Michael or
Go for 30 seconds. Sounds like a bad movie. Okay. To answer the question, can AI feel? I kind of forgot something in the argument. I'm sorry. Part of the issue is we're treating AI as also a standalone technology. When I integrate AI in other technologies, it can feel. I can integrate it with sensors, I can integrate it with virtual reality, I can integrate it with robotics, and all of a sudden it suddenly feels, based on my human feeling and emotion. So it's actually feeling. Our challenge here is we're treating it as a standalone technology. At the same time, we're fighting against it rather than looking at it as a collaborative partner.
AI cannot feel. Your vote tonight is, one, are you going to vote for patterns and mimicking human behavior, or are you going to vote for our unpredictable human heart, which is how we feel? AI cannot feel.
Whether AI can feel or not is immaterial. The motion says AI can't feel, only humans do. We have proven that many other beings feel, not just humans. And I think it's about time that we stop being so arrogant and upgraded ourselves, that we're better than our behavior, better than the behavior that we've coded into AI, and to optimize our humanity. Otherwise, we'll create a future where AI is our operating system for our feelings. Is that a future you want? Be conscious what you're voting for.
All right, so we have the final result. And the winner are the for the motion.